Well, good morning and welcome to Social Services Corner. I'm Marcia Wilson, the Manager of Social Services here in Laguna Woods Village. Our topic today is all about memory loss, and my special guest is Dr. Cordula Dick-Muehlke. She's the Director of Education at UCI's Institute for Memory Impairments and Neurological Disorders. We call it MIND, M-I-N-D. Welcome to the program, Cordula.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, there may be some confusion about dementia versus Alzheimer's disease. I sometimes hear people say, my doctor said I had dementia, but thank goodness I don't have Alzheimer's. What's the difference between the two?
Well, that's one of the most common questions we get. Dementia is actually a syndrome. It's a complex of symptoms that can have a lot of different causes. So dementia involves three major features. The first one is a loss of intellectual ability. The second one is that dementia affects your memory, plus one or more other cognitive abilities. So that might be language, reasoning, judgment, visual spatial abilities, your ability to find your way around in the world. And the third feature is that the impairment is so severe that it interferes with your ability to carry on your normal everyday life, and eventually even take care of your own basic needs. Now, dementia is an umbrella term, much like cancer is an umbrella term, and there's lots of different types of cancers. So Alzheimer's disease is the most common cause or type of dementia. In fact, it is the primary or secondary cause of up to 75% of all dementias. Now, you may have heard of other types of dementia. You may have heard of vascular dementia or something called frontotemporal dementia or dementia with Lewy bodies, but those all account for a much smaller percentage. Alzheimer's is the main cause.
I see. Okay. So I understand there's a middle stage between healthy aging and Alzheimer's. What's that stage, and what are some of the symptoms that we should watch for?
Well, as we grow older, we all start to have some cognitive changes. We may find that we have a little bit more difficulty learning new information, like new names. We might find it a little bit more difficult to multitask, a little bit more susceptible to distraction. We may find a little bit more difficulty finding words. But if those difficulties become more severe, we enter a stage that clinicians now call mild cognitive impairment. Mild cognitive impairment is when the person has a memory problem that's significantly different or worse than other people their own age. So how I explain this is I'm 57. If I go in and I take a memory test and my score is compared to other people who are 57 years old, and I'm scoring a lot worse than other people my age, then I would be diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. So mild cognitive impairment could affect your memory, but it could also affect language or other cognitive skills. But the main point is that particular ability is significantly worse. But unlike dementia, you're not demented because you can still do your activities of daily living. You're still functioning in the world. In order to have a dementia, the impairment or the cognitive difficulty has to get in the way of your ability to work, your social life, your ability to take care of yourself.
Very, very clear. Very well done. You are now the new Director of Education for UCI's MIND, Memory Impairments and Neurological Disorders. What does the Institute do?
Well, the Institute actually has three primary areas. The first one is basic science. A very important part of the Institute is the research that we do into Alzheimer's disease to understand the biological mechanisms of the disease so that we can work towards better treatments, ways to prevent getting Alzheimer's disease, and ultimately, obviously, a cure. So that's a very important component. A second component is our Memory Assessment and Research Center. And our Memory Assessment Center is where people come in who are having some memory problems or concerns, and they can get an assessment and talk to our experts, and then if they are interested, they can participate in our ongoing longitudinal research program where they help us to understand the differences between older adults who never develop a dementia and older adults who do become cognitively impaired. So that's the second component. We really focus on early identification. And then the third component is education, our education outreach to the community, because we strive to make our community more aware of Alzheimer's disease, have a better understanding of it, understand what they can do to stay brain healthy, so to speak. But also, if they do have cognitive difficulties, helping them and supporting them and getting them connected with the resources in the community that are going to help them along the journey. So it's really those three parts: basic science, our memory assessment center, and the education we do for the community.
Beautiful, beautiful. UCI Mind is planning a very special event on Saturday, March 10th. It's called Time of Your Life. Tell us about that.
Well, UCI Mind relies on charitable support to do many of the innovative studies that we do and research. And so we are so thrilled that our friends are all going to gather on Saturday, March 10th at 6 o'clock in the Center Club for the Time of Your Life. And it's going to be a fun 60s themed event, and the entire Center Club is being transformed with various rooms representing various aspects of the 60s, like Motown, Futurama, Supper Club. So it's going to be a fun experience, and we just want anybody who can do so to come to join us and to support us and to learn more about what we do at UCI Mind to help our community cope with what's really becoming an epidemic of Alzheimer's.
It's going to be an evening of cocktails and food stations. You're going to have some auctions, some silent and some super silent auctions, and dancing all night long. This sounds fun.
It is going to be a grand event, and so
Very
everybody come.
So how can people at home, if they'd like to get involved, what should they do?
Well, if you would like to get involved and or you're having memory problems or concerns or would like to learn more about our research, just go ahead and call 949-824-2382, and we'll make sure to get you connected with the right person to assist you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cordula, for being my guest today on Social Services Corner. You've offered us a lot of good information about memory loss and ways we can participate in some current research going on at UCI. If you at home have some questions about this wonderful program, I hope you'll call 824-2382. I'm Marsha Wilson, and I will see you here next time.